doesn't love an amazing video game? But no game is perfect. Some of the best games have awful parts that might make you rethink whether you're actually having a good time or not. That's the point of this video. Terrible parts in awesome games. But before we do that, please give us a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's get started. Number 10. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. You could easily spend 200 hours exploring the open-world version of Hyrule in this instant classic on Wii U and Nintendo Switch, and you'd love nearly every minute. Whether you're searching for Korok seeds or cooking on a campfire, there's plenty of fun to be had in Breath of the Wild. What's not fun are the combat trial shrines you'll find peppered throughout the game world. Each of these single-room mini-dungeons traps you when you walk in, and every time, without fail, a mechanical enemy called a Guardian appears in front of you. Guardians range in size and difficulty, but each battle plays out in exactly the same way. The Guardian will attack you for a while with melee weapons, then it will dash at you, before retreating and pelting the room with lasers. At this point, you can use your glider to catch an updraft and deliver a blow from above. It's always the same. Wash, rinse, repeat. These shrines are optional, and they're not very difficult if you're properly equipped with weapons, armor, and hearts, but they're just so repetitive and lacking in imagination, unlike the rest of the game. If Nintendo had put more time into making each of these shrines unique, it would have made for a much better game. Number 9. Battlefield 1. Until Battlefield 1 came out in 2016, shooters had been creeping into the future. Series like Call of Duty, Titanfall, Halo, and Gears of War were all set in war-torn futuristic settings. That's fine as far as things go, but it turns out fans were itching to go back to the wars of the past. That's exactly what Battlefield 1 delivers, a mostly historically accurate version of the First World War, a brutal conflict that included soldiers fighting on horseback, in tanks, planes, and trenches. You get a little bit of everything in Battlefield's campaign, which contains 5 missions that take place across a wide geographical expanse. The problem comes when you reach a mission that tasks you with destroying a train that's full of soldiers who are armed to the teeth and hell-bent on destroying you. Your job is to make a mad dash from ammo cache to ammo cache, picking up as much firepower as you can, and getting off your shots before the enemy can drop a massive bomb on your position. To say it's frustrating is to undersell the magnitude of this mission's hair-pulling, teeth-grinding awfulness. When you reach this mission, good luck, you'll need it. Number 8. Mario Kart. Some gamers like to poo-poo on racing games. Maybe they don't have any special affinity for cars, or they just find them boring. But even if you fall asleep during most racing games, there's a good chance you'll love Mario Kart. This series has been tearing up the track since its Super Nintendo debut in 1992. These games are colorful and filled with joy, thanks to the power-ups scattered around the track for racers to grab. You can find things like mushrooms that boost you forward, shells to toss at your competitors, and thunderbolts that shrink and slow down your opponents. But one power-up is impossibly overpowered. Of course, I'm talking about the dreaded blue shell. Introduced in Mario Kart 64, the blue shell, once deployed, barrels ahead like a heat-seeking missile that zeroed in on whoever happens to be in first place. In other words, if you're winning the race, you're about to get blasted to oblivion. It's a terrible feeling when you're about to cross the finish line in first place, and some slowpoke nails you with a blue shell, losing your spot on the winner's podium. Nintendo, isn't it time we move past this awful power-up once and for all? Number 7. Shin Megami Tensei 4. With Persona 5 finding so much success, new fans might be wondering about the series that spun off the Persona games. Shin Megami Tensei 4 is a long-running series of RPGs that have you collect demons and fuse them together to create more powerful demons. It's a winning formula, and the games have been solid from the start. Shin Megami Tensei 4 came out on Nintendo 3DS, and it maintains the series' high level of quality. That is, until you get a few hours into the game and are set free in the overworld. Any seasoned RPG fan knows all about overworlds. They're large expanses of land that connect a game's towns and dungeons together. It usually consists of environments like forests, lakes, deserts, and snowy peaks. But in Shin Megami Tensei 4, the overworld is an ugly wasteland, with places of interest connected by blurry excuses for roads. You can't even see any of your party members. Instead, your group is represented by a blue circle and an arrow. This whole visual catastrophe is an incredible letdown in an otherwise top-tier game. It's kind of like they ran out of budget and had to outsource the overworld to the nearest kindergarten class. RPG fans deserve better. Number 6. Dark Souls. in the Dark Souls games. As in life, death is a given. The difference is that Dark Souls lets you come back to life and try again, over and over, until you either overcome the challenge or give up and move on to another game. Seriously though, these games are tough. Let your guard down, and any old enemy you encounter can end your run with a few flicks of a blade. Death isn't a defeat in these games, it's a lesson. Dark Souls teaches you how to succeed through death, because each death tells you something about what you did wrong. You die and you learn, and you get better at playing the game. With dying being such an integral part of these games, you'd think the developers would make it a fairly painless process. You'd think they'd put you back in the game as quickly as possible so you can try again. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Unless you're playing on a blazingly fast PC, when you die in Dark Souls, you've got a long look at a loading screen ahead of you. Loading times last way too long, ticking into the realm of minutes instead of seconds. For a game that's so quick to kill you, it would be nice if it would be equally quick at bringing you back to life. Number 5. Mass Effect 2. When it comes to trilogies, the middle installment can easily feel like a story spinning its wheels. That's not the case at all with Mass Effect 2, a game that takes the RPG mechanics of the first installment and reconfigures them into a tighter, more action-oriented experience. This game has you assemble a crack team of soldiers to take on what looks like a suicide mission. You convince these potential squad mates to join your party by completing loyalty missions, giving the game an episodic feel that works great for a 30-hour adventure. But there's one new mechanic Mass Effect 2 introduces that doesn't quite live up to the rest. I'm talking about scanning planets for resources. In this minigame, you travel around the galaxy, finding new planets to mine for material you can use to craft weapons and mods. The problem is, scanning the planet is about as much fun as doing your taxes. It involves keeping an eye on your fuel level and probe inventory as you scuttle through space, hovering over a planet and moving a cursor along its surface in hopes of finding a resource worth gathering. It's boring, mundane, busy work that should never have been incorporated into the game. Number 4. The Last Guardian. It was a long time in the making, but The Last Guardian turned out to be worth the wait. This game from the makers of the PlayStation classics Echo and Shadow of the Colossus centers around a boy and an enormous bird dog creature named Trico. You spend your time in the game navigating a beautifully rendered world, solving puzzles, crossing perilous gaps, and avoiding enemies as best you can. All of this is highly enjoyable, except when the camera and controls begin to feel like they're actively working against you. For one thing, you don't control Trico directly. You control the boy, who can nudge his companion in various ways, in hopes that Trico will obey. Turns out, Trico doesn't always want to play along. Sometimes he'll simply ignore you. When that happens, you'll find yourself trying to get Trico to do what you know needs to be done in order to solve the puzzle. But the big lug just sits there. And as if that isn't bad enough, the camera seems to have a mind of its own. Like Trico, it often disregards your wishes and goes its own way. It's a good thing the rest of the game is so incredible. Otherwise, these issues could be a deal breaker. Number 3. Fallout 4. Games don't get much bigger than Fallout 4, a massive action RPG that takes place in a post-apocalyptic Boston. As you play, you choose factions, build colonies, and fight super mutants, all on your way to retrieve your son from the bad guys. It's a fantastic game, but not without flaw. The worst part about Fallout 4 has to be the dialogue wheel. In previous Fallout games, when choosing a reply during a conversation, you're presented with a list of options, each of which adds a unique flavor to your response, like anger, sarcasm, or flirtation. In a misguided attempt to streamline conversation in Fallout 4, the makers replaced these lists with a dialogue wheel that only offers brief summaries of the replies available. This sounds good in theory, but in practice it means you never really know how your reply will come off. You might say something mean when you were trying to be nice, or vice versa. The descriptions of the replies simply aren't thorough enough. Thankfully, someone in the fan community stepped in and created a quote-unquote full dialogue mod that replaces the dialogue wheel with a list of full replies, just like in previous games. So if the wheel is giving you trouble, install that mod to make things right again. Number 2. Dead Space. If you like survival horror games, there's a good chance you played through the Dead Space trilogy during the Xbox 360 generation. These games draw inspiration from some of the best horror movies around to craft a seriously chilling adventure. The first game is particularly excellent. It mostly has you walking through the dark hallways of an abandoned space station that just so happens to be populated with vicious aliens. Thankfully, you have a number of weapons designed to hack off their limbs before they can get you. But at one point in the game, your ship enters a dangerous asteroid field. Your job is to use a turret to shoot the asteroids before they reach the hull of your ship. This might sound reasonable enough in theory, but in practice, it's a complete nightmare, and not the fun kind you'd want in a horror game. The asteroids come at you so fast, it's incredibly challenging to shoot them one at a time. Making matters worse, the big ones break into smaller ones when shot, adding additional targets to an already overwhelming experience. Intense gameplay is the bread and butter of horror games, but this asteroid sequence is the wrong kind of intense. It's not scary, it's just poorly designed. Now before we go into our number 1 pick, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And for more cool countdowns like this one, subscribe to The Gamer. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. No joke, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is one of the best and most important games ever made. In those early days of 3D gaming, it's like Nintendo was showing other developers what a 3D game could be. In it, a sizable overworld that's full of secrets leads the way to a series of expertly designed dungeons for our green-clad hero to explore. These dungeons contain memorable puzzles and boss encounters, while also offering players new tools to play around with. It's great until you get to the dreaded water temple. Where to begin with this monstrosity of a game design? For starters, the temple is large and complex in design, but what makes it such a pain is that the puzzles require you to fill the temple with various amounts of water. But doing so lets you access all kinds of nooks and crannies, but also seals off certain areas depending on the water level. So to get through it, you have to constantly fill and drain the temple to just the right amount, all the while exploring the rooms the developers want you to see in the exact right order. Pro tip: if you're playing this game for the first time, just use a walkthrough. You'll thank me later. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed our list of great games with one unfortunate bad part. If we missed one, let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends, and to make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our great video content in the future. I'll see you next time on The Gamer.